clicked on this, but regardless, hello.
Let's begin, shall we?
Hello there. Let's... Okay. Webcam's alright. Let us get started with our movie puzzle. We got 10 minutes on the clock. Try to figure out what's missing. Got a short name today. Jules Winfield, Samuel L. Jackson. Another character, Aragorn. Viggo Mortensen. And then Atonement. Oh. Alright, I think it's Eva. And then probably Mendez. So we got Michael Caine for Batman Begins, Taxi Driver, Jodie Foster, Shakespeare in Love, Gwyneth Paltrow, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Daniel Radcliffe, Hail to the King, baby. I feel like we've had this clue before. I am serious. Don't call me Shirley. So that will be... It's from Airplane, I know. What's his name? Leslie Nielsen? I don't know. Bruce Campbell. That's what it was. Alright, we spelled Leslie Nielsen wrong. Gwyneth Paltrow, we flipped 2 letters. Keira Knightley, we flipped 2 letters. And Mortensen. It's not Mortensen, but we cleared it. I think we might have had this one before, though. So let's try and fill the grid. Oh, we got Captain Marvel. Gotta run this one through. Ben Mendelsohn. Thor Ragnarok. And then Grand Budapest Hotel. So this one's gonna be Marion Cotillard. And then in Thor Ragnarok. Owen Wilson. So my initial thought is Jude Law, but I don't know if that's going to be right. For Grand Budapest Hotel. Then I don't believe Samuel L. Jackson was in Thor Ragnarok. I mean, technically, I don't know if they're gonna have. No, Stan Lee did make a cameo in both. And then Spider-Man No Way Home and Thor Ragnarok. Hmm. Yeah, it'll be a guess for Grand Budapest Hotel and Captain Marvel for Jude Law. If it's not him, okay, it is. Thor Ragnarok and Midnight in Paris. Could see it being Cate Blanchett. Could see it be Tom Hiddleston. Okay. Right on our second guess. So No Way Home would have been the third, right? Yes. Okay, so this will be Benedict Cumberbatch. Might have also been in Grand Budapest. Nope. So, Spider-Man No Way Home and The Dark Knight Rises. So let's see, it's not going to be... Christian Bale, no. Anne Hathaway, no. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, no. Michael Caine. Gary Oldman, no. Morgan Freeman, no. Tom Hardy, I already said. Ben Mendelsohn. I keep thinking of Thor Ragnarok and not Spider-Man No Way Home. Okay. Yeah, I think of one at a time. Okay, Thor Ragnarok. So Jeff Goldblum wouldn't have been in both. Tessa Thompson. I don't think it was Mark Ruffalo. Mariners. Hi, hello. How are you doing? I am stuck on a fill in the grid that I should have run through with ease. It's making me question all of my life choices. But how are you doing? How's your week going? I'm doing alright. I want it to be the weekend already. Just trying to just have to make it through tomorrow. Then I am on vacation for a week, so really just trying to motivate myself to get through tomorrow because it is going to be rough. See, I'm starting to wonder if with the Spider-Man No Way Home and Thor Ragnarok, if they count the post-credit scenes. Because Tom Hardy was in the post-credit scene as Venom. I'm not a fan of that. 7-stream streak, nice. So Captain Marvel and Thor Ragnarok, the post credits would have had Scarlett Johansson and what's his name who plays Thor? Keep thinking Tom, but that's not right. Chris. Really? They were in the both in the post credit scene. Uh Okay, it's not Reese Ifans. Oh, that's right. He's not in here? Uh, there is an actor who is in both movies that is not listed. And that's Tony Revolori. That's annoying. Alfred Molina, maybe? No? Willem Dafoe? Hey, we finally got it. Alright, so we just have to figure out who is in Captain Marvel and Thor Ragnarok. I don't remember what the post-credits scene was for Thor Ragnarok. Major! Hi, hello. How are you doing? You seem like you are having a wonderful day, and I hope you are. Trying to figure out who is in both Captain Marvel and Thor Ragnarok. Because if it was the Marvels, then it could be Tessa Thompson. Yeah, Major. You the best. I don't believe Taika Waititi was in Captain Marvel. Jaimin Hansu, maybe? No? Alright. Yeah, I do not know. I'm just gonna burn the last guess. Say Samuel L. Jackson. Mark Ruffalo. He was not in Captain Marvel. Yeah, Stanley was in both, but that wasn't an option. Says Don Cheadle was in it, uncredited. Steve Rogers, uncredited. He was not in the actual movie. Scarlett Johansson, uncredited. So it's going to be an uncredited role. Mark Ruffalo. I'm sorry, that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that one. Oh, did I spell his name wrong? Is it Toni? Why is he not showing up? Tony Revolori. Spider-Man No Way Home. And then we already clicked on it, but he was also in the Grand Budapest Hotel. Naughty Dog. Hi, hello, welcome in. It says we failed on fill in the grid, but it lies. We are calling bullshit on this one. Anyways. Hi, hello. It said Mark Ruffalo was in both Thor Ragnarok, which he was, but they also said he was in Captain Marvel, which he was not. He was... There was no cameo by him in that movie. Let me think through it. Yeah, because everything in that movie takes place in the past. The post-credit scene, Hulk wouldn't have been on Earth. He might have been on Earth. But still, if it's counting the post-credit scene, then Scarlett Johansson should have been an answer. Because didn't they have her voice in it for the sun's getting real low, big guy? No, they didn't credit her with it, even though she was in it. Whatever. We're moving on. Yeah. It's just gonna be one of those days, isn't it? Alright. Let's move on to trying to do some actual editing. So we're on scene 25. Which we need to add a year to. So previously, we didn't do a ton, but we did a little bit of the conversation between Margaret and Bryn. Margaret talking Bryn into doing the spell to locate Helene, And we get kind of a quick montage of narrowing in on where Helene is. And then the scene we're on is kind of the final part of that, wrapping up the conversation between Bryn and Margaret, and the spell finishing up with that. And then Margaret's going to set off. So that's where we are at. We'll see how far we can get. Yeah, also, last day before vacation, so no streams next week. Now, into, yeah, scene 25. Interior tavern. Actually, let's go. Bryn snatches up the bowl, exits to interior tavern moments later. Bryn smooths out a map atop the bar. She tips over the bowl. Green elixir drops onto the map. The beads of liquid quiver, then dart across the map to a single point. Bryn. There. Bryn nods to the column of liquid, indicating Helene's location. We're just going to say point. Bryn nods to the point, indicating Helene's location, then looks to Margaret. Bryn. There. Bryn nods to the point, indicating Helene's location. Okay, we're going to take that out. Change this to that area of the map. Bryn nods to the point indicating Helene's location. Margaret studies that area of the map, the Appalachian Mountains. Bryn, it'll be dangerous. Margaret looks to Bryn, resolved. So we took out looked earlier, so that's fine. Margaret, I have to. Bryn, she's not alone. She's with other witches. It's all the more dangerous. Margaret doesn't waver. I can tell you what's going to happen, if you want. Margaret. Thank you. No. I have to do this. I'm gonna change this. Alright, interior tavern, moments later, 1681. Bryn smooths out a map atop the bar. She tips over the bowl, green elixir drips onto the map. I don't think... I don't like having map in there twice, but I feel like it's kind of necessary both times. Bryn smooths out a map atop the bar. She tips over a bowl. Green elixir drips onto it. We could just say it, since it's the subject of the previous sentence. The beads of liquid quiver, then dart across the map to a single point. Bryn. There. Bryn nods to the point, indicating Helene's location. Margaret studies that area of the map, the Appalachian Mountains. Bryn. Start down this path. There's no going back. Say Margaret glances. Margaret glances to Bryn, resolved. Have to. I have to. Margaret glances to Bryn, resolved. Margaret. I have to find her. Bryn. Well, she's not alone. You know, she's with other witches. It's all the more dangerous. Margaret doesn't waver.
Hey, Peter Parker. You got something for me?
Naughty Dog. Thank you very much for 3 months. That's crazy. Yeah, does seem like only yesterday. But I appreciate it. Enjoy the ad-free and the emotes and all the stuff, all the things. Technically, the first month, it's not a gifted sub. Yeah. Yeah, I think, if I remember right, the first month was a major gifted sub, the second month was a rad gifted sub. So you finally get your own sub. She's with other witches. I feel like this should be more about why it's dangerous, the hunters. Well, she's not alone. She's with other witches. Only a matter of time before the hunters. Margaret glances to Bryn, resolved. I have to find her. Bryn. Well, she's not alone. She's with other witches. Only a matter of time before the hunters track them down. Margaret doesn't waver. I can tell you what's going to happen if you want. Why is this not working? I think I just have to switch these around. Yeah, I feel like this needs to not be there. There. You start down this path, there's no going back. Margaret realizes to Bryn, resolves. I have to find her. Bryn. I can tell you what's going to happen if you want. I don't care what happens, as long as I find her. Even if I tell you she's not who she was. It is very difficult trying to write a scene with a character who knows what's going to happen without them just saying what's going to happen. Whew. But I think you've already established the reason they don't say what's going to happen, so to... Yeah. Yeah. That's not the issue I'm having. The issue I'm having is she could tell Margaret enough to stop her. But like this line, for example, if Bryn says she'll break your heart, that's not she's probably going to, or she might, it's she will. And so, like, trying to figure out how to square that with Margaret. Make it vague or in riddles. Yeah. Mariners didn't know what a fucking cassette deck was the other day. Oh, yeah. That was in... I think that started in Book Lover stream. 'Twas a low motivation day. Right, so, yeah. Levington, hi, hello, welcome in. How are you doing? Well, now I'm disgusted and disappointed. Fair reaction to coming into stream. Okay, let's take that out. They didn't take us to that kind of museum. Feel like Margaret is more driving in that. Okay. Look here, skip it. Oh, no, we're not getting into that. Bryn, there. Bryn nods to the point indicating Helene's location. Margaret studies that area of the map, the Appalachian Mountains. You start down this path, there's no going back. Margaret glances to Bryn, resolved. I have to find her. Bryn, I can tell you what's going to happen. Do I want the if you want? No. I can tell you what's going to happen, Margaret. I don't care what happens, as long as I find her. Bryn. She'll break your heart, Margaret. Margaret. Then I'll let her, however many times it takes. Margaret exits. Bryn remains. Better. think I might put this back in there. I'd heard of one, but didn't know what it looked like or what it was used for. Yeesh. Alright. I think that works for the scene. Because I feel like, even if Bryn says she'll break your heart, Margaret feels almost a debt to Helene because she feels like she let her down when she ran away earlier. Okay. So, on to scene 26. We are still in 1861, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, we are still in the 1861 time frame. 20 pages in, though. We're sixth? Just over a sixth of the way through. Exterior, forest, Appalachian Mountains, day. Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. Sweat covers her face. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. Boom. See, just by changing where stuff is in the sentence, it makes it flow a little better. She slows. She slows, recognizing ahead, a path winding through the trees. We have ahead twice. We don't need that. I feel like that should be a comma, not a period. And the space should go before the T. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. She slows, recognizing ahead, a path winding through the trees. The path she saw in Bryn's vision. Did she see it? She did not. Right, she didn't see the vision. Bryn did. Yeah, so yeah, I gotta cut that out. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. She slows, noticing a path winding through the trees. Nearing the path, Margaret searches. Did Bryn show it to her? Is that one of her magic powers, or does Bryn see what other people see? So Bryn can see what other people have seen if she makes contact with them, but for this one, she was casting a locating spell, and so she saw kind of the narrowing in of location, and then she dumped the elixir from the bowl onto the map, and that marked where Helene was. So Margaret didn't see the location, she just saw where it was on the map. all action. Alright. She slows, noticing a path winding through the trees. Nearing the path, Margaret searches. No, because... yeah, we need that there. Nearing the path, Margaret searches. No one in sight. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. She slows, noticing a path winding through the trees. Nearing the path, Margaret searches. No one in sight. Eager, she starts along the path. Did we have halts? No. Gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts. She looks all around her. Gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts, looks all around her. Nothing catches her focus. I guess I can just say nothing. Nothing catches her eye. Gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts, looks all around her. Nothing catches her eye. Okay, gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts, looks all around her, but nothing catches her eye. There we go. Nothing out of the ordinary. Yeah. Same basic concept. Hearing the rustling of a bush, Margaret shifts. Yeah, writing ain't happening. You gotta do it, mate. Mariners, you gotta just push through it. Hearing rustling, Margaret examines. Hearing rustling, Margaret examines. I have had a total mental block on both projects. I don't believe in mental blocks. I don't believe in writing block. It's not real. It was made up by writers to make writing seem more interesting. That's what I think, and I'm sticking to it. To remain in existence or active. Alright, let's see if this works. Exterior forest, Appalachian Mountains day. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. She slows, noticing a path winding through the trees. Nearing the path, Margaret searches. No one in sight. Eager, she starts along the path. Gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts, looks all around her, but nothing catches her eye. I feel like this needs to be continues. Margaret continues along the path. Hearing rustling, Margaret examines a shrub. Nothing out of the ordinary. Anxious but determined, she continues on. Yeah, I feel like this is redundant. Oops. I don't feel like we need that. Margaret exits, Bryn remains. Exterior forest, Appalachian Mountains day. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. She slows, noticing a path winding through the trees. Nearing the path, Margaret searches. No one in sight. Eager, she starts along the path. Gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts. looks all around her, but nothing catches her eye. Anxious but determined, she continues on. Will anyone be seeing the new Toy Story? It's good for it. Yeah, I will probably watch it when it comes to streaming. I don't know why this isn't... Still need to watch Toy Story 4, to be honest. That Chicken Man was really quite the character. And the Pink Bear, hated the Pink Bear. Lotso? Yeah, I need to probably rewatch all of them. Yeah, whenever the new one comes to streaming, I'll probably rewatch them. Top 3 coolest scenes in film. By the way, when the train is going across the bridge in Andy's room. Maybe this shouldn't be there. Nah. Sweat covering her face, Margaret treks through the untamed, overgrown wilderness. She slows, noticing a path winding through the trees. Eager, Margaret starts along the path. Gripped by an uneasy feeling, Margaret halts, looks all around her. Searches, halts, searches. But nothing catches her eye. Yeah, I think that works a little better. Anxious, but determined, Margaret continues on. Yeah, I feel like that probably works. 1681? Yep, we wrote that wrong there. 1681. There's a YouTube video called Toy Story 2, but AI is the only character. I don't know if I want to watch that. When I asked a few weeks ago about everyone's favorite shots or scene, that's the scene that came to my mind. Oh, but Al is the only character. Okay. That makes it better. Question mark? Alright, we are at first break time for the night. Yeah. So I'm going to step away for a few minutes and do some things. I will put up some words on stream for anyone who would like to participate. They remade Toy Story 1 now. Woody would be a console controller and Buzz would be a set of AirPods. Alright, we got words on stream up. Y'all know the rules. Do the thing. I'll be back shortly. 3, 2, 1, go. Well done, everyone. Sorry, I had a text that I wanted to respond to. Naughty Dog with the gold, Levington with the silver, Mariners with the bronze? Nah, I'm here, I'm back. I've returned. Yeah, and I helped out. I stole the first word. But GG's to everyone. Better than I got in the egg and spoon race. I'm only gold because Major wasn't here. Yeah, Major's busy bullying 12-year-olds in Fortnite. Mariners, you would appreciate this. My dad and brother are at a World Cup game currently and sending us pictures and stuff. Yeah, I think there's also one happening by me in Santa Clara, but yeah. Great, get them started, why don't you? How much do they sell their kidney for? I don't know. They have like upper deck seats. It's around where me and my dad sat when we went there to see the Super Bowl. So very high up, but they're there. Yeah, also a valid answer. The cost of 2 World Cup tickets. Alright, let's get back into it. I don't know if we're going to be able to get through everything I want to get through, because I'd like to... Our goal is through scene 29. I don't know if we're going to make it that far. But we will see. Yeah, Mariners, I have no idea. Finish script today? Not this one. My other one, I came close, but I need to rewrite a couple of things and finish editing through the last scene. But, yeah. That one, not this one. This one's might take a little bit. Alright, so we got through scene 26. We are on to scene 27. Yeah, hopefully these flow a little better and we won't have quite as many edits to make and we can get through them a bit quicker. Alright, exterior, forest, path, Appalachian Mountains, later. Trudging along the dirt path lined by trees, Margaret halts, sensing something off. Last football, mention of the stream. My teams are going to break the transfer record for one player, 130 million pounds. That seems like a lot. That's many monies. No, because this is forest, and then she goes onto the forest path. And this is later. Alright. Trudging along the dirt path, lined by trees, Margaret halts, sensing something off. So that's what, 57.95? Guessing this needs to be something's off. Trudging along the dirt path, lined by trees, Margaret halts, sensing something's off. She extends her hand. It pushes through an illusion, probably field. JKR, yeah, our economy's... Field is F-I-E-L-D, correct? Not F-E-I-L-D? Yeah, F-I-E-L, yeah. Oh, this is where she finds the illusion too. Okay, so trudging along the dirt path lined by trees, Margaret halts, sensing something's off. I before E except after C. Weird. Yep. Some guy from Ghana was stadium putting curse on the English striker. Technically related to the streams and magic. Fair. Alright. Need to change this around. Extending her hand. She pushes through an illusion field. Illusion field. You spelled weird wrong because you put the E after I, even though it doesn't start with C. No, that's how weird is spelled. So weird is something that doesn't fit into the I after E, yeah, the exception to the rule. Extending her hand, she pushes through an illusion field. It turns... I just don't like this phrasing. Turns to shreds of vapor. Whoever came up with that rule must have been... yeah. I before E except after C, but never in A as the neighbor in way. Is how I was taught. Where'd the U in neighbor go? We don't use used in a lot of words here, Mariners. Use. Okay, so what if we put that... Extending your hand, she pushes through an illusion field. Shreds of vapors. No, I like the imagery, but I don't think it works. Pushes, say her hand slices through vapors. Pushes through. Fruit Ninja. Alright, I think we'll get rid of that. We combine those two. Okay. What did we say? Through the illusion. Turning it. Sending her hand, she pushes through the illusion. You get extra true positional D-chan. Yeah. Realizing it's a concealment spell. Rockstar dumped the equivalent of small nation GDP into that game. I don't think it's releasing from. Concealing spell or concealment? Realizing it's a concealment spell. Oh. I think that was Cyberpunk that took a while before it was somewhat playable. Yeah. Still gotta download that game. Maybe try to get a few friends as well. Realizing it's a concealment spell, Margaret glances around. Witches surround her. Find witches surround her. Realizing it's a concealment spell, Margaret glances around to find witches surrounding her. Yeah. Witches together. Prepedio. Something like that. Margaret seizes up, falls to the ground. Okay, trudging along the dirt path, Margaret halts, sensing something's off. Extending her hand, she pushes through an illusion. So many play before I lose her mind. And she pushes through an illusion, shredding it to vapors. Okay. I think this is how we want it. Exterior forest path, Appalachian Mountains later. Trudging along the dirt path, Margaret halts, sensing something's off. Extending her hand, she pushes through an illusion, shredding it to vapors. Realizing it's a concealment spell, Margaret glances around to find witches surrounding her. Witches together, Prepedio. Margaret seizes up, falls to the ground. I feel like that works decently. Oh, you're talking about Football Manager now? Okay. 1681. Interior Dianic Witch Outpost. Yes. Later. Margaret's eyes snap open. Before her snap open. We have her find there. It's basically like spreadsheet simulator. So we want a verb. To become aware. Yeah, I feel like discovering. Meep. Margaret's eyes snap open, discovering Seraphina looking back at her, sitting upon Margaret's eyes snap open, discovering Seraphina, sitting on a bench made of stone, surrounded by a group of Dianic witches. That works better. Seraphina is in her mid-30s, Italian with long, curly black hair. The matriarch... Don't feel like we need that. The matriarch of the Dianic witches. Group... sworn to fight oppression. People play it using Excel and shiz, like Moneyball and steroids. Is actually quite interesting. Retention rate of players on Football Manager, at least Football Manager 24. Remember seeing his data graph show player reached a certain number of hours, such as 50, they were way more likely to log 100 plus hours in the other games. Seraphina is in her mid-30s, Italian, with long curly black hair, the matriarch of the Dianic Witches, a group sworn to fight oppression, all dressed in purple robes. Yeah. But more importantly, Helene isn't among them. think I forgot a word there. Torches illuminate. Oh, illuminate. Yeah, 5. No, that was fine. Torches illuminate the makeshift wooden structure. Might not need that. Oh, it was rough in my editing session a few days ago, seeing all the words I missed in chapter 1. Yeah. Okay, we're adding that up here. Okay. Within the wooden structure, torches. Yeah, that's gonna be way too long. You have to figure out a way to break that up, probably. Within the wooden structure, illuminated by torches, Margaret's eyes snap open, discovering Seraphina sitting on a bench made of stone, surrounded by a group of Dianic witches. Seraphina is in her mid-30s, Italian with long curly black hair. The matriarch of the Dianic witches, a group sworn to fight oppression. All the Dianic witches are dressed in purple robes. Helene isn't among them. Okay, we don't need that line then, because we added it earlier. Helene isn't among them. Seraphina looks over Margaret, critical. And who might you be? Margaret's eyes... We can put this here. Margaret's eyes scan the witches, staring back. Yeah, I feel like... Margaret's eyes scan the witches. Helene isn't among them. I could ask you the same thing, Margaret says. Seraphina, you do not look like a hunter. Dianic Witch 1. She could be working for them. Seraphina looks to Margaret, expectant. But Margaret remains silent. No, just Margaret. We don't need the but. Stream finishes just in time for the USA game. Well planned. No, you'll be eager to support the team. Exactly. Sure. Where is that game taking place, Mariners? Seraphina looks to Margaret. Okay, that's the one in LA. Okay, I think that's the one my dad and brother are at. Seraphina looks to Margaret, expectant. Margaret remains silent. Dianic Witch 2. She has no other reason to be out here. Dianic Witch 3. If we let her go, she could tell anyone where we are, ruin everything. Seraphina. Tell me, what were you doing? Margaret, hesitant. I was looking for someone. Seraphina. And that led you here? Margaret nods. Seraphina. And who might that someone be? Margaret. Helene. Seraphina considers the answer. So I'm trying to remember this from Helene and Seraphina's point of view where we have it later. Because I think Seraphina already knows someone was tracking Helene. So I feel like that might inform her. Okay. So she says I was looking for someone, and Seraphina responds with, "Why were you looking for Helene?" Or you were. Interesting name. Which one? Seraphina? Yeah. That one took us a while to find. Usually struggle just to revert to Dave. Yeah. Um, there's a website called Behind the Name, which I used a lot. Because you can look for names based from different places, mythology, different stuff, male, female. So it helps quite a bit. Okay. Oh, yeah, of course. It's kind of crazy all like the resources and stuff you find after you've been writing a while. And yeah, that's one that I end up going back to time after time. Although I don't think she would be called Dave. Taken aback, Margaret nods. Seraphina considers. Fantasy name generators is also a good resource. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we don't need both of those, just this one. Sorry, Danik, which two? I'm taking one of your lines away. Name sorted for my next novel. Perry Hodder. Okay, Diana, which one? Helene would never betray our location. Margaret pleading. I have to find her. Seraphina. How do you know Helene? Margaret. I knew her. A long time ago. She gets paid unions? Yeah. Yeah. So she would be a day player, right? Because she's just going to be around for this one day, have a couple lines, and she's good. Yeah, just glorified it. Yeah. Seraphina's suspicion is all but confirmed. Helene doesn't speak of her past before you know what she is. Feel like we need a parenthetical. Redirecting. Helene doesn't speak of her past before you know what she is. I have a long-winded question that I asked Livestream, but didn't do a good job of explaining what I meant. She'll get tape for her auditions and get over. Yeah. Know what she is. Shoot, Mariners. We got about 20 minutes left. You know what she is. What we all are. Right? Margaret nods. Same as me. A witch. Margaret, hesitant. Same as me. A witch. The Dianic witches look to one another, roused. Seraphina shifts, intrigued. Curious, the Dianic witches look to one another. Seraphina shifts, intrigued. Curious, the Dianic witches look to one another. Seraphina shifts, intrigued. Seraphina. So it was you. That's how you found us. How you came to be here. Margaret nods, seeing no reason to mention Bryn. Meep. See no reason to mention Bryn. Margaret nods. Alright, let's read this paragraph by Mariners. Do you think there should be a more defined pathway for writers and filmmakers to progress? Yes. So, for example, in sports, players progress through a team. Use F1 as an example. They find drivers. Karting, sponsor them, help them develop. Is it possible for writing filmmakers? How can it be implemented? I believe this would help create more opportunities for creatives and ensure better, more development across the board. Curious to know what you guys think. Collaborating members are the best way progress is to do. Yeah. The industry could be doing a lot more, but they're happy making the money they're making, and they don't really care because they know people will always want to make movies, so they'll always be able to find someone to make movies. Yeah. How to implement and what that is I think studios should have basically scouting departments for writers, directors, creatives. But it would have to be a separate, almost a separate entity from the actual studio, because the studio wants to protect themselves. Because, like, if I submitted something to a studio and they ended up making a movie that had some similarities, then I could bring suit. But if they had a separate scouting department That's its own entity that basically stays more or less separate from the studio, except for when they're pitching things that they found that they think are worth making, um, to help minimize that. So I'd see this being implemented as publishing houses or studios, setting up academies, yeah, more or less same thing. Giving them the expertise and tools they need to develop, rather than focus on being writer or filmmaker, go out research themselves. Well, filmmaking is business, movies are product. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd think about it in terms of like a scouting department, um, where they have just a team who goes and looks for writers and directors and helps um, kind of bridge that gap into the industry. There's a good point using my F1 example because it's easier for me. The team is business and the result is products. So teams take risk on drivers, maximize results. Yeah. It's not something I've seen anyone else speak about. Yeah. Un-American Cheeseburger. Hi, hello, welcome in. Ah, the screenplays. Studio pitch tends to be harder than the actual script. Yeah. That is another thing I've heard, because, like, I'm an introvert. I have social anxiety. So, like, if I have to start, like, meeting new people and pitching and having to be, like, the focus of meetings and development meetings and all that stuff, that is not going to be very comfortable for me. But it's something that I'm like, it's kind of part of it. I'll have to deal with if I ever get to that point. But yeah, the writing will probably seem like the much easier part. All right, let's see. We got some more yapping to try to get through. I don't know if we're going to make it tonight. We will try. See no reason to mention Bryn. Margaret nods. You know what we are, but you, yeah. You know what we are, but do you know who we are? Margaret shakes head. I just want to find Helene. I look at the art versus product. Argument like this, let's say Coca-Cola was originally intended with a lemon flavor. Chat keeps moving. That was fine when there wasn't much distribution of Coca-Cola. Over time, because there was a Coca-Cola like Coca-Cola flavor, you have to forego the original intent and appease people who pay you. I think it's something I'm going to research, write out in more detail, because I genuinely believe it's a massive failure. Yeah, there's huge gatekeeping in the industry. I mean, 3 ways it goes. They say no, they say yes, and buy the script. They sit on it for a decade. They buy it and put it into production after rewrites. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my biggest issue is I feel like I've developed my skill in the writing of the scripts. I have a number of scripts that I like that I've written. There's this little piece in the middle that is like a black box that no one ever tells you exactly what it is. And then there's the meeting people production, all that stuff. And it's like that little piece in the middle that no one tells you exactly what it is. Sorry. Like the Marvel movies are not art. They don't break new ground, but they still sell and they're safe. Yeah. Hi, hello, welcome in. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Let me know what you would like to be called. If you're writing on spec, rewrites are always a given. Actors have their own. Yeah, that's a thing. I wasn't sure if you were in the middle of a match major, so I did the shout out. They got double shout outs. Hi, hello, Raiders. Welcome in. Marvel is a fast food of movies. Kind of, yeah.
I like this one.
All the shout outs. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you for following, new people. Trellian, hi, hello. Oh, you came in with the raid. I saw you were streaming earlier. I hope your stream went great and you got lots of progress done. Oh, you're in the lobby right now. Okay. I guess my F1 example is slightly wrong, as there's a defined idea of what a good driver is. They're fast, consistent, but a good writer or filmmaker is subjective, so that's where something like this could be a bit an issue or less. Yeah, but if we take the idea of like a scouting department, different studios would probably have different things that they were looking for in different places that they were looking for talent. So I mean, like bigger studio, like Disney would be looking for a very specific type of writer, someone who could fit into their system. Whereas other studios like Universal has a much less defined style of the type of movies they make. So they would probably be looking for just a wider range. And then, well, before this past week, A24 would be looking for very like unique voices and interesting stories. So yeah, the scouting department would be a reflection of the studio, and it would get kind of people in based on what the studio is looking for. Hello, how's the writing going? I'm SL. Okay. Thank you for telling me how to say it, because I am bad with new names. Writing's going all right. We are currently trying to edit some stuff, but we've been kind of sidetracked on another conversation about the studio system. Oh, yes. For everyone new here, what's the other one? Story, exclamation point. That is the logline in genre for our current project. Oh, the other one is cast. And then our cast for the project that we would love to have. So, yeah, that's the logline for the current script. If you have questions or anything, let me know. Whenever I catch up with chat, I'll try to answer them. It was a nice stream, made lots of new friends. Nice, that's awesome. Okay, Mariners doubled up on story. I appreciate it. You do research and writing into this. Mind if I put into this? Yeah, go for it, Mariners. Universal, of course, has Dracula, which is so spooky, but sometimes he fights Albert and Costello, which is less spooky. You're not wrong there. I believe at this point Dracula is in the public domain, but anything that they added to the character in their original version might not yet be in public domain. So, there's kind of a hub for that sort of scouting the American film market. First I am hearing about that. I might have to look into that. OMG, the A24 thing breaks my... Yeah, like, I thought that was fake when I first read it. Because I was very surprised they would do something like that. Yes, we are writing about witches. We got some witchy things going on in our story. Oh, no, I have not either. I haven't either looked at who's on A24's board, but I'm guessing it's not great. Ad. Oh, no. Oh, you're out of ad jail. It's all good. Then you get Lost Voyage of the Meter. Oh, we got our cast. We got our cast. Would have been improved. Optic because were in it. Oh my God! Oh, you're a witch. Nice. Yeah, we have our take on witches. They're a little different than other versions in other movies. Oh Lord, it's a beauty pie chest. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm so far behind. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to be quick. I mean, weren't they once talking very seriously about rebooting now and Costello meets Dracula movie with Key and P? They might have been. I do not know. Actually, I haven't. Maybe this was coming all along. Yeah. My producer got to attend and try to sell our feature film. Some interest, but no. Okay, interesting, Levington. You do witchy things sometimes? Nice. Josh Kushner? Everybody Josh Kushner. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. It's kind of hard to take it how I see this idea, but it'd be slightly different to this. At least how I see it. Yeah, definitely still research it though. It's all good. Sort of the Kiki type myself. Yeah, I was gonna say of delivery service. Yeah, I think that's one of the only Studio Ghibli films I haven't seen. Actually, probably should watch it though. Yeah, it was like when I found out Trump's brother was on the board for Bethesda. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Yeah, and his Treasury Secretary in the first term used to be a producer, and like seeing their name on some movies I like, I'm like, not a fan of that. What about the players? One of them invested in enhanced games too. It's a meet and greet conference, pitch opportunities, hanging out with producers, distributors, everyone just hunting for films that meet their needs. Nice. So it's more, okay, it's more of a event, not necessarily like an ongoing year-round online thing. Gonna lurk while I wrap up. Sounds good. Thank you again for the raid. We are actually probably going to be wrapping up soon because it is getting close to ending stream time. Yeah, I think it's once a year thing. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Do we have enough time to get through the end of the scene? Probably not. There's too much yapping. She already said they're witches, so we'll get rid of that. Wrapping up the second hour of the 24-hour stream. No! No 24-hour streams! We'll be sure to send the ready and research Discord for anyone who wants to read it. Yeah, we have a Discord. If anyone is interested. Yeah. I suggest rating you because I'm taking a rating. Because I'm taking a screenplay writing class at the moment. Well, like in a week. I've done them twice. Never again. 24-hour streams. Yeah. Yeah. I am self-taught with the screenwriting stuff, so I just kind of do my own thing. I've read some of the books and stuff, and yeah, I agree with Mariners. Learn the rules so you can break them. And I mean, part of it is just I am not writing when I lack the motivation to do it, and a class would help me. Yeah, yeah, we've had some conversations about motivation before. For me, the thing I do, like, early on, motivation tends to be easier because like the idea is kind of pushing everything forward. But I set a schedule that I write pretty much every day of the week. I'll take like weekends off, but like that time, that 1 hour every day, Monday through Friday, I write. Doesn't matter if I feel like it, whatever. That is my writing time. I will do it no matter what. And so that just forces me to every day keep at it, keep working, keep making progress. Very surprised amount of which themed or which adjacent content that is currently on the entertainment market. Oh, really? Learned. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Naughty Dog loves the vomit draft. Just get everything out on the page first and clean it all up later. I write most everyday Mariners. I would say probably Saturday is the only day I don't because we usually stream on Sundays, so I've started writing that day as well. Witchcraft is in its hip, it's cool. Yeah. Sword and sorcery, Renaissance perhaps? Maybe. Found a hack that works for me. Write any amount, just do it before 5 p.m. It gives me to show up more often. Yeah. Yeah, my hour is usually like my lunch break. So I usually just eat at my desk and work on writing. And that is before 5 p.m. So usually it helps if I have a group of people I'm trying to impress. Yeah. Kind of separate, but kind of related to that. Back in high school, I remember like if the girl I had a crush on was in like my gym class, like I would always go a little extra in gym class that day if we were playing something competitive. So I know what you mean. Trying to impress someone, you always give it that little extra. Also, I don't know a lot about the filmmaking community in my town anymore, so I'm trying to meet people in. Nice. Yeah, that's one of the things I need to work on is trying to make more connections. Yep, this goddamn werewolf script has almost stolen my lunch breaks. What are some of the main plot points of your story? Yeah. We kind of jump through time. Our witches, their magic keeps them from aging, so it kind of progresses over many years and many points throughout American history and kind of reflects certain things in American history. And our two main witches, Margaret and Helene, found each other, fell in love in colonial America, and then they were separated, and it's them trying to make their way back to each other. But obstacles we throw in their way to keep them apart. Yeah. So it's kind of a witchy romance epic-ish. I had a massive crush on a girl in college. She liked Brooklyn Nine-Nine, so I religiously watched it for years because we were just having a conversation. I know what you mean. 50 turns into LeBron James for that one. Yeah, it's all you need. Just 1 hour a day. Tori's got his name scored 54 points for in gym class. Just one gym class. Yeah. Oh, no. I cannot dunk. I could maybe at like one point in my life, but definitely not anymore. Was it 50 or Yao Ming? Nobody knows. No. Someone I have never been confused before, ever. All right. Where are we at? Scene 28. We all know the real answer. All right, yeah. So I know everyone just rated, and I appreciate you all stopping by, hanging out, and chatting. But we are going to be rating out ourselves. Because That's it's getting late. I'm old. I need my rest. Mariners wants to choose the raid. All right, Mariners, let me know. You should include. Stop scrolling. Melissus Maleficarum, or better known as the Hammer of Witches in the Witch Hunter's Bible. A real book used to hunt and prosecute people in Europe and the Americas during the witch scares. I might need to look this up. I'm copying that and putting it into my notes. Thank you for that. Exactly. Anyone who's never been in the same room with each other, the same person we know as is also President Eisenhower. I've never been in the same room as President Eisenhower. That is correct. Christie's in. Okay. Yeah. Mariners is choosing the raid. Timing is immaculate. Yeah. It's all good. I've raided someone as they were ending their stream, and it we raided to a black screen. So
I like this one.
You made it in before that. You're doing great. Later in my research, there's also a book called The Book of Werewolves, which is history of werewolves, not written as a joke within the 19th century. Interesting. All right. Real quick before we go. Announcement. I'm going to be on vacation next week, so yeah, we're not going to stream on a regular schedule for next week. This coming Sunday, next Tuesday, next Thursday, and the following Sunday, so we're going to miss 4 streams, but then I will be back on the regular schedule after that, which is Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Always been more interested in werewolves, you know, wolves bitten by humans turn into men of full moon. Next stream will be from the middle of a pool. Nope. No pool streams for me. Monster hunting manuals, very popular past over 100 years. What about warehouses? And then the other thing, when we get back, our Sunday streams are going to be changing a little bit. We're going to be doing something new. We're going to be writing something new. I don't know if you saw. Yeah, I saw that, Mariners. For men bitten by houses, they turned into houses of full Book of Werewolves. So, yeah. When we get back on our Sunday streams, we are going to be writing. I'm going to be doing Captain Marvel 3 because we love Captain Marvel. And I've been kind of annoyed because there have been a lot of stories coming out that Captain Marvel's basically been cut out of Doomsday and maybe Secret Wars 2. So I'm like, alright, I'm pulling Thanos, putting our hand in the Infinity Gauntlet, do it myself. So we're going to be starting writing our version of Captain Marvel 3 on our Sunday streams. And continuing to edit our Witch story on Tuesdays and Thursdays until we finish up with that. So that's what's coming up. Let's get the raid going. And wrap stuff up. Alright, we got the raid set up. I'm disappearing. Yeah, we got our raid messages. The first one is for subscribers. Second one for anyone who is following. The emote should work for you. Thank you to everyone who stopped by, hung out, lurked, chatted, all the stuff, all the things. Thank you again for the raid. Sorry, mess it up. Can't see it. Yeah, like I said, I will be out next week, so I will be back on July 6th, probably. No, 7th, probably. You want to... All right. Yeah. Yeah, it was great meeting all the new people with the raid. I hope everyone has a good rest of their week, great weekend. If you're in the States, happy early 4th of July. And yeah, I hope to see everyone, when I get back and we continue writing and all this stuff. Okay, thanks.
Thanks for checking out my channel. Do whatever you want. Live your life. I hope you're happy in your body. Much love to you. And see you around.